Hi. Yeah. Hello.
Hello, hello. Just to cover my fats. We are live, live, live. Okay. We're expecting people to come in. So we can start. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to City Music Facebook Live, and we are live right now. And we are alive, 1 p.m. and I'm very hungry. You guys hungry? Makan already? Haven't we?
I haven't.
Haven't, right? That's why my stomach like making some drum groove kind of thing. So thanks, Amanda. Okay, so we are live on Facebook, City Music. And thank you, taking the opportunity to thank everyone, whoever is going to join us later and soon and now. Thank you so much for supporting us. And today we have a very special guest, not only one but three. Like as I mentioned, it's like Charlie's Angels and Torn Among the Roses. Yeah, we have on my left extreme corner, we have Amanda Ling in the house. We have Christine Sham or Cham? Sham, Christine Sham in the house. And also, not forgetting Joanna.
Hello.
Yes, Joanna. And it's been a while. We haven't seen each other. And also Amanda, thanks for... Christine, I haven't seen you before actually. But I always see you on Facebook. I'm stalking you on Facebook. But I mean, yeah, that's nice to see three of you. I'm like very impressed to actually... the reason we are here actually to just share with everybody your journey in the music industry in Singapore, especially what you do, and to inspire a lot of people out there, basically who wants to start, venturing themselves into music line, and probably also as a keyboardist and many more. You hear their journey, a beautiful journey of their music, journey in life, and so on, and how we make it right in where we are right now here today. It's and talk about the music. Yeah.
Sure.
So okay, perhaps. Also take this opportunity to congratulate Joanna and Simon for their firstborn baby, Denver. Cute, now. We see it on their their Instagram. And we're like, wow, but I don't think I'm gonna have another one.
Don't be deceived.
Be enough. Yeah, but it's nice to have a baby, right? And it's always. But only thing is like, she mentioned to me just like a bit tired. Yeah, but it's a happy tired thingy, like Joanna, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Is it good? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It's okay. I'm sure.
So far, okay.
Okay.
Anything I'll kind
It's
of
nice, really nice. Yeah, so what we have next is okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is to get more people to come in. All right. So we don't have to repeat that again and see. Hopefully, have more viewers. Okay.
Share it.
Yeah. Shall we share it?
Yeah, I think we should. Just gonna. Yeah. Okay, other than this, we would like to thank our supporters, and also we are supported by this Facebook live stream. Is supported by Sony Singapore, Aputure Asia, which beautiful lights. All these lights are actually sponsored by Aputure Asia, Korg Singapore, Zoom, not the Zoom, the Zoom software, but it's the Zoom. What you call that? The recorders, and you have very beautiful. The mixer, digital mixer that's designed for live streaming, etc. A lot of beautiful things that they built. Zoom, and also Mackie Singapore, and not forgetting Deity Microphones Asia. Thanks to Chinfu for the sponsor of the Deity model S2 microphones. That's an awesome microphones that you have there.
These ones?
Yeah, these ones. They are beautiful microphones. Like these are shotgun microphones, but they are awesome mics. It's used for multi applications. So generally beautiful mics. Yes. Okay. So back to this. I'm just waiting for more people to join us. Yes, everybody, please come into the Facebook live. We have also people from Ipoh, our CK Music. Ipoh is joining us also. So it's not only just in Singapore, we have also CK Music in Malaysia joining us, as well as Ipoh, KL and Ipoh also joining us. So that's nice. See everybody there, and yeah, since we can't go there and they come here, so this is a good opportunity for us to be together in the Facebook Live, right? So, okay, let's go back to everybody, like the roses here. So, Amanda, how are you doing right now? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Busy and keeping alive.
Right. So what you've been busy with, like, you know?
Actually, I've been busy a lot with facilitating sound healing, sound meditation. And it's I mean, I'll probably go into it a little bit more, but it's kind of like my current vision and passion to fuse music and wellness together. So yeah.
That's another world.
Yeah.
It's totally
It is,
different
it is.
from the conventional. Right. Christine, how about you, Christine?
Oh, yeah. You mean during COVID time, is it? What
Oh,
have I
well,
been
let's
doing?
talk about COVID later on. Like, you know, now.
Just
as in-
now.
Yes, now, like what you've been busy with.
Okay, yeah. So, well, I've been busy with some live streaming stuff, Jam with Christine. That's new. That's something that happened in July. And of course, I'm teaching. I'm taking a lunch break now from La Salle. Yeah, so I'm teaching there, and I have some production work.
Where are
Yeah.
you teaching in La Salle then?
What am I teaching?
Yeah, there. Yeah.
I teach pop piano and also introduction to soundtrack to the diploma students and keyboard skills. So a couple
Awesome.
of things, yeah.
That's amazing. Joanna, how about you?
We're talking about now, right?
Right.
As in now.
Yeah, what have you been busy with?
Busy with Denver.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Only, I think. And just teaching in Thunder Rock School. Yeah.
Oh, so you're back teaching already?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, so everybody's teaching. That's nice. How about you? Are you still teaching?
Well,
Amanda?
I facilitate more now, but I don't really teach as much, like music educating as much as before.
All right. Oh, that's nice. But I mean, different feel, you know. So that's very interesting. That's what we talk about today because, you know, it's not just playing the keyboard and that's it. So you hear more inspiring things that probably you can learn and experience from the three amazing keyboard players here. So back to you. You were mentioning that you were doing something to do with meditation. So how that come about? Like,
I think because it's myself, I've been a yoga practitioner and teacher for the past like 8 years, practicing for like 12 years. So I think meditation got to me at that time. And I've been also, because I DJ as well, right? So I...
DJ as
yeah.
well. Ooh, amazing.
So I used to DJ a lot for yoga events, like, you know, live DJ with a yoga practice. And I think that, to me, music and wellness was always very separate. And then because of that experience, I felt like there's so much more I could do with music. And then that's when I explored into sound healing. As for myself, I specialize more in Tibetan singing bowls. But it's also my journey on like understanding a little bit on how then music and sound actually can be a tool, you know, for like meditation as well.
Sorry, did you say what you were specializing in?
Tibetan singing bowls.
Ah, Tibetan song.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's another world, right? I mean,
It
it's
is
like,
another world,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's totally different from the conventional,
Conventional.
obviously. Right.
Yeah.
Christine, how about you? I mean, as in,
Do I do yoga also? Is it? I do
perhaps,
actually.
I wish I
I
could,
did,
but
yeah. I am into exercising as well, but maybe not so much. Yeah, but I'm fully, just doing music like 100% of the time. If you're asking me if I have any other hobby, like I don't, I love to travel, but you know, we can't really travel so much now. So I actually put all my energy into producing music, teaching music, and performing music. It's 100% that for
talking
me.
about producing music. So who are your clients? Basically, who do you produce for?
Yeah, so I've been a composer for as long as I can remember. That's my first profession before I actually even did gigs and stuff. So my clients would be from the media side, like it could be advertising, like any client, like, you know. So I wouldn't say producing then, I would say more like composing for them. But these days, besides composing and arranging, you kind of have to like mix and you do a lot
wear
of
many hats.
Yeah. So I would use the word produce now more, but not so much in the past. Yeah. So a new client I have is with Universal Production Music. So I write library music for them. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I have
amazing.
I have to produce the music and also mix and sort of master it. So I have to learn all this, like especially mastering. I'm like totally, I don't know how to do it, but I have to learn it. Yeah.
Right.
Still learning.
Yeah, we all do. I mean, until today. Yeah, but this is good to learn. Since the music now, it's not like before. We're just a keyboard player, and that's it
Right.
playing the band. It's no longer that form. You know, it's like you have to wear many hats.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how about Joanna? I mean, I was amazed. Like, you know, she's not only a keyboard player. She plays the saxophone. Really, not a joke. She plays the saxophone really good. So maybe you can share and how came about. Which one comes first? Like the chicken and egg. Like whether saxophone or the keyboard.
Definitely keyboard first. Keyboard first. And the very conventional way, I did the whole classical, when your parents force you go for lessons and that kind of thing. But to be very honest, I didn't really enjoy classical piano. So my joy from keyboards came only when I get to dabble with synth and all the different sounds. Like, I never knew that black and white keys can produce so many different kinds of sounds. And that's where my keyboard journey actually began. Yeah. Then after that, the whole saxophone thing is because my my father-in-law bought a saxophone for himself to play. He wants to, train his lungs and everything. And he gave up in like 1 week. Pass it to Simon. Simon gave up in a day. In an hour, then pass it to me. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's how it started.
Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah. So it's a good start actually, like just pick it up and then just, and learn it. Right. Okay, let's back to this question of music, right? So a very simple question I'm going to ask three of you. So do you need a formal training in order for you to play music? It's a shooting on the head question, so be careful. What do you think? Okay, Amanda, what do you think?
I
Do you
think
need
that's
a formal
subjective.
training?
I don't believe that you need to have formal, but I feel that it's great to have some kind of like base like knowledge. For myself, I'm trained. So like for me, I studied classical music, piano, as with anyone else, right? Like since 4 years old. And then later on, I took up percussions as well because I was playing a symphonic band in secondary school. So that opened my eyes up into rhythms and percussion. And I started, going between like drums and then piano. Keyboards actually only started when I actually first played with my very first band, Throb. And that's where actually later on I'll have the story on how I got to Korg. but I think in that journey, the formal versus non-formal, there was actually a definite like dilemma. Like sometimes I want to free form, but then you kind of think too structuredly, and then later on when you're too free form, you were like, no, I need some kind of like structure. So I think it's always good to have best of both worlds, I feel, and for a formally trained musician, it's sometimes good to let go of like forms for a bit, bit of structure and
more
then
creative rather than
Yeah.
just by the book, right?
Yeah.
Okay, back to Christine. I understand that you went to a school that I wanted to. It's all everybody's wish list, all keyboard players' wish list to go. But maybe you can share with the audience.
Yeah, I went to Berkeley College of Music when I was super young. I don't want to say when. It was a long time ago.
I
Yeah,
mean, you're younger now.
I do feel quite young still.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity, like you all, I was also classically trained, and I discovered pop by myself. But when I wanted to do jazz, I was like, I need some help. I need someone to teach me, because those times, there's no YouTube. Okay, I review a little bit of my history. There's no YouTube, so you have to learn it from someone. Someone has to teach you. So I had the opportunity to go to Berkeley, and that I thought was the best thing that ever happened to me. It really opened up my my perception of music in general. Not only there to learn jazz, there are a lot of rockers there as well, and I thought it's really good. But I have to second her opinion about like rules, because like classical, we have a lot of rules, like, we cannot parallel this, we cannot do that. When you apply that to your music, especially in pop, you sound like any other one, because you're like, okay, I cannot do this parallel. You're not supposed to do this. But if you break out of that, you don't think about that, your sound will become edgy. You'll be a bit different. So I understand that education is good, definitely, especially if you want to teach, or if you want to pursue a music career. If you're not taught, how are you going to teach others, right?
Yeah.
So that's important in that sense. But if you're just playing for fun, you're being in a band and all that, I don't think that you need a formal education. We can learn from a lot of places right now, like YouTube and stuff.
Right. Okay, back to Berkeley. How do you? Since you went there, it's not easy. Not everyone can go Berkeley, and especially those days, especially during my time, right? We need someone to so-called recommend for it. Not like now. Now we can just simply write in and then blah blah blah. But during my time, it's like you need somebody you learn from somebody, just like you said, and then you need to recommend by the teachers, whoever, and then go to Berkeley. In their form,
How did I?
Yeah, how did you manage to?
I think when there's a
go-
will, there's a way. I mean, they have some like basic criterias, like you have to finish like O levels. Well, it's actually quite basic. You don't even have to do A levels. So I did not do A levels. I just finished my O levels because I'm from Malaysia. So it's just basically a high school, and then I have my grade 8 in piano, and then you do some audition. You send in like 3 pieces. You send it in, and then and that's it. And then they review that.
How much? How much? Do you mind me asking? But how much do you spend actually those days?
Well, it's a lot for those days
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I can't remember now, but it's nothing compared to now because I think the school fees is raised every semester, like 500, 500, 500. You know.
Wow.
Again, I'm revealing how long ago is it. So yeah, it's different. It's quite expensive. I would have to
Expensive, I'm
say.
sure.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking, because it's really not as simple as just now. In those days, it's really really expensive. So yeah, but it pays off. You know, right where you are now, I think it pays off.
It really helped me.
Yeah, it's in where you are right now. I think that's awesome. How about Joanna? I mean, as in, do you go for like formal, like really really formal, and then you know before you start teaching and all that?
I think me and Amanda were from LaSalle.
Oh, you're both from LaSalle.
Yeah, we're both from
Oh,
LaSalle.
so you
She's my
graduated-
senior.
I see.
Yeah.
I think I was the first batch in
Yes,
the contempt pop.
Yeah,
course.
she's the first batch.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's nice. So
the
I mean,
old
it's-
campus.
The old campus.
Yeah,
the
we're
old
from the we are from the
LaSalle.
old campus.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. That's a good start actually. If you wish to pursue your studies in music, LaSalle, I believe, you're teaching at LaSalle now, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good
And I'm
platform
also
there. You
now
got good
studying in
teachers.
LaSalle,
Sorry?
by the way.
Pardon?
I'm now studying in LaSalle as well.
You're studying again?
Okay, I'm not
Wow, I
teaching
feel
her.
so small.
I read cheap stuff, yeah.
But what do you
Masters of Arts, Pedagogy and Practice. So the teaching methodology of teaching the arts, and also a research into teaching and your own practice.
So after you learn, then you teach me.
I totally speechless. Like, wow, okay. So yeah, look for them if you want to learn anything like that, you know. And music is like awesome, you know. Just go to them. And yeah, LaSalle will be a nice place if you think of continuing or pursuing your music studies, right? You think so?
Yeah, locally, I think is decent. And of course, if you're Christine, please look for Christine. Yeah.
Now let's talk about your journey. Each one of you. Back to Amanda. Journey in music, and how you get started playing music. You know, what makes you, you know, rather than facing 4 walls, you know, in the office, 8 o'clock, 8:30, punch card, and then you go back like 5:30. What makes you venture into or dive into music?
Like in the industry of music, you mean?
Yeah.
I think since young, I've always been a very creative individual, and you know, my playing music since, even though I was classically trained, but even before that, you know, apparently my mom always find me, or my siblings always find me using stuff and hit on the table, you know, things like that. And then even though I went through the formal training, and the love of music started really, really quite young, and I started listening to all sorts of different styles of music. And somehow, interestingly, by 12, 13-year-old, I felt like I had this very strong resolve, like I just want to be a musician. Like, I don't care. I'm just going to go for it. I don't care what it takes, right? And at that time, that was when I researched into like going into, even when I used to travel in the past, I would be going to like Juilliard School of Music, get the prospectus, you know, like get all the prospectus from all the different music schools to inspire myself. Huh?
She likes to study.
Yeah.
Tell she loves to study. Like,
If you know, like Strength Finder, there's this traits, the different traits. I'm like the learner trait. So I think I like to learn a lot of different things and absorb and just explore and experiment. And, you know, like what I think I know, it may not always just end there, you see. Yeah. So I feel, so eventually I think, you know, going to the music, after I went to LaSalle, and then my initial idea was to just like take a bit of break, and then probably I was really eyeing on Liverpool School of Institute, Liverpool Music, LIPA, yes, Performing Arts, yeah. But then, you know, things happened, and then I was like, I was just thrown into not thrown lah, but I just somehow found my way into the local music scene already with my first band, Rob, and then the rest is history, right? So I think it was just quite progressive that way. And then through that, a lot of things that I learned in school, it's a little bit of everything. So you kind of learn through the experience of being in the industry. And you know, and it's just really kind of like fulfilling a bit of a childhood dream, I think, for me. Yeah.
Oh, so it's like different
I-
ambitions.
Yeah.
For each. Yeah.
And I think for me, I'm never really was the sit down. Well, I tried like those school holiday jobs before at 16-year-old, like part-time telemarketer type. But then I cannot I can't I need to be moving around all the time. Yeah.
Wow. It's like wow. Okay. Christine, yeah. So when you moved to Singapore, I mean, I see you mentioned that you were from
Time. Huh?
yeah. So I mean, I
Yes.
see, don't have to be specific, but like generally,
Sure.
or why? Okay, let's put it this way.
Why?
Why?
Okay, so I'm from Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, right? It's a small town, and I studied there and went to the States to study, and then I went back to Kota Kinabalu, and I was there for 1.5 years. While I was there, I was a hotel pianist. I was teaching, of course, and then but I thought I wanted to work in a studio. I really want to be in an environment where I could like compose tunes for advertising, that's what I want to do, for visuals, and I wouldn't get that opportunity in Kota Kinabalu, so I decided I'll have to come out somewhere, I have to go somewhere, so it's either Hong Kong or Taiwan or Singapore or Kuala Lumpur, but I put Kuala Lumpur first because that's still my country, so I thought maybe I'll go Singapore, it's nearer. I absolutely do not know what is here in store for me, I have no idea, I just came.
And you came alone.
I just came alone with $2,000.
Wow.
Yes.
You're not worried like there's monster like me who come like
No, the worst thing that could happen, I thought, is that I don't succeed and I'll just go back. But at least I've tried, right? Yeah, so I just came here and then I landed myself with a job at Yellow Box. That's my dream job because I was hired as a composer and I was housed under people like who owns Yellow Box then, like Iskandar Ismail, the late Iskandar Ismail, Rennie Gomez, we have Ricky Ho, Shah Tahir, so all the greats, and I was at the right place at the right time. So when I was there, and then I think they like, okay, so this new girl is our composer. That's how I got started. That people start to, notice that I'm there. And then later on, it became like the gig scene. So I was focusing on being a composer first. Yeah, so stepping out for me was the right thing to do. Yeah, you have to step out before you can experience the next step.
Yeah, that's a very nice tagline, I would say, because if you don't step out, you leave your comfort zone and that's it.
Yes.
You can't think of out of the box.
But I don't have any backup plan. I don't think about it. I just come and I must succeed. I don't think, okay, if I feel right that I'm gonna pack my bags, I've never thought about that. Maybe I'm a very optimistic person. I'm very, very positive. So I just came and I feel like this is what I want to do. I'm just gonna do it. Just do it, Yeah. And the rest is history. I'm like stuck here now. No, yeah.
No,
It's
I
home,
really-
it's
yeah,
home, it's
it's
home.
home. Yeah,
Second home,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, but I love Kota Kinabalu. In fact, we have several good musicians those days that were from Kota Kinabalu. One of them is the late Martin Pereira.
Is he from Kota Kinabalu?
Yep. Yeah, he's a very good friend of. He's one of person that I learnt a lot, and he left us, but he's an amazing musician, also from Kota Kinabalu, Sabah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, how about Joanna? Yes, you've been smiling. Okay, how was your music journey? How was your journey from how you
I
started?
started off playing in local, like those local indie gigs and everything, doing original music, and then after that, now mainly I'm in more of the pub scene. So I play weekly at Walla Walla, Timber. Yeah, those are my regular spots with my band Reverie. Then, and doing just events, weddings, and all. So the cari makan gigs lah, basically. Yeah, and then
Okay.
writing some on my own original songs and all. Yeah.
Do you remember your first gig?
Let me think. First gig, I think it's Street Fest.
Oh, okay. So you
I
play
think
covers
it's-
at that time?
No, originals.
Originals.
Yeah, I
So you
used-
started actually playing original first?
Yes.
And then
correct.
playing covers?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you
So-
find challenging playing originals or covers?
It depends, but personally, I enjoy doing both. Covers, of course, has its challenge. So if you know, there are times where we have to learn like 40 songs a week, that kind of thing, right? And then that's the challenge where you have to finish their homework, within that time span. And if like sometimes I know when I play with like 1 week I will play like Heritage, then January or with Reverie, and then there's a lot of songs. So you have to learn like different repertoires.
So you
And
back a lot of other singers also.
more for just session in the pub scene.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was the first local band you mentioned here that you played like in the band playing your originals? What was the first band?
I used to play this band called Oslo Castaways. So do a little bit more like electronica, indie, rock kind of music. Then after that, it was Zero Sequence. That's where I met
I see.
Simon. Yeah.
That's where you met Simon.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
Okay. So all right. Okay. So that's
the progressive rock. Yeah, and all.
So that was also playing a lot of originals at the time.
Yes.
Wow. And then when where was the first gig that you played like cover
Cover
songs?
I think Wala was that.
Wala was the first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until today, right?
Until today.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is nice. And it's not easy to play covers. So people thought like, okay, play cover songs, but in the band you have to play like exact, right?
Yeah, actually, it's not just as that what I really enjoy now with my current band is that we not only get to play exact, but it's the space to improv.
Right.
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
so my singer, like I'm Suraf, he loves to just arrow, okay, solo. So we just do not know like, okay, solo you mean now, and don't know what key and all that kind of thing. So I like being on my toes also, because sometimes when we learn a cover as it is, and if you play the same cover over, it can get a little bit boring. But it is that whole improvisation thing that makes me want to practice very hard, because I know like I want to better myself in this improv aspect every week.
Well, that's very colorful. You know, like, my time was I have to play exact. You play wrong note. Hey, they don't know that this is wrong. You have to play exact, you know.
It depends,
Yeah.
because I know some songs and some bands they demand note for note, and yes, we have to deliver that expectation. But I think I am quite blessed and fortunate that I get to experiment with the creative side, with the whole improv thing. Yeah, even though we are playing cover music weekly in a pub. Yeah.
That's cool. I would love to do that, but nobody wants me in the band anymore. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So like, let's back to a little bit different now. I'm just going to do a soft sell. Okay. How you get to know CD music, Amanda? How you got to know not just me, but the CD music thing? Yeah.
Oh, I think it's really like literally throwback. When I first got my first micro Korg, that was in 2005. But previously, because when I was in Throb, very young, right, below 20s, no money to buy keyboard. So my keyboards that I played on the Korg was loaned from the previous keyboardist, and then later on with Damar. And I've actually first touched the the Korg MS2000.
Wow.
Wow, I know,
That's nice.
right? That's
Yeah,
like
wow.
that's quite vintage, and then later on became micro Korg, and then later on I'm like, no, I need my own. So I kind of saved up, and then at that time, then I was brought here to get acquainted with the place. Then I'm like, wow, this is so cool, and there's so many other Korg products as well eventually. So that was the very first time, I think, back in the early 2000s.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, just to insert a little bit, like, what was the band that you were playing, other than the first band that you
So
mentioned?
after Throb, it was electrical.
So okay. So you're
Yeah.
from the electrical.
Yeah. Then
Yeah,
now
okay.
I'm in each hand a Cutlass.
Uh-huh.
So in between, I sessions with different bands as well, but like the original bands, I mean. So
do you write songs in the band?
I mean, we all co-write together, right? So sometimes, especially for now with Inicha and Cutlass, I think there's a lot more room instrumentally to build, to write, like, because we tend to like to write songs and the album in a very conceptual way. So there are different like mini tracks in between, interludes that I would just like create from the beatbox, whatever, and just like, produce it and just edit on, things like that. So, and then, as with any band, I think we all have different ways of how we write
Right,
songs
yeah.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, but what most I think is challenging to me, I believe if you play in a band, is how you get all these different heads together and form a song, because we may have different ideas and
Yeah.
how to make these ideas into one. I think it's very challenging. Yeah,
It
people may have a different like, this is better for me, and it's like I can
Yeah.
imagine that playing in a band. So that's very challenging, but interesting.
It has its own challenges.
Yeah. Okay, Christine, sorry, just want to ask, we go to this first before we go about, the soft sell, that kind of thing. I mean, like, when you write song for it's totally different from writing a song for like, for your own pleasure.
Correct,
You know, and this is for something where your clients, it's not to your self-satisfaction. You know, it's for people. So people pay you money to actually, you have to come up with something that we want rather than you want. So how do you deliver that?
I need to know the criteria. That is very important. So the client will give you a criteria. For example, I'm writing a news ident for your TV. So I'm not going to throw in my latest chord or some jazz chords or whatever. I have to go by the spectrum of the requirements given to me. So I have to stay quite closely to that. Or sometimes they will give me a reference track, which I like, because they may say, okay, write something funky, but your idea of funky and my idea of funky may be totally different. So we have to go through like many trials and runs before we hit the spot. So I'm like, give me a reference. Yeah, so I will try to not copy, but get the essence from this reference track and then do like my take on it. That will be the fastest way for me to nail this job. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what would be the expectation or so-called the what would I say? Deadline, for example.
Oh, it's very tight, very tight. Yeah, for me, so there's a lot of people ask me, so what's your inspiration for writing music? I'm like, there's no time for inspiration. Like, okay, I need to take a mountain retreat, like to go and like absorb some fresh. No, I have to write it maybe in 2 days. So a lot of my works, if I have to come up with a demo or draft, it's in a few days' time. And then we go for some feedback in the second round. So it's very fast. So if you say, oh yeah, I can do this, but if you take 3 months, that's too long, or even 2 weeks. Yeah, so in days. In days, yeah.
Okay, that's very challenging. So you have to be well prepared. And you have, I believe you need a lot of libraries so that you can change like ad hoc or instantly so that you can be prepared. Like, sometimes you will get clients that, can you just change this part or like maybe the 4 bar of this? I believe you.
Yeah, they might not. The thing is, they are not musically inclined. Maybe they might not even tell you that it's a tempo issue. They're like, hey, can you go faster here? Actually, it's not go faster. It's like they want to like a
instruments.
Yeah, like they want to put a percussion
energy
there or something, but they're like, I want it to be faster. Then you're like, if you really make it faster, then you're wrong lah. So you kind of have to like read their mind. So after all these years in this industry, you kind of like know like what they actually want, but you can't go and correct them and say, hey, actually you're talking about the tempo. There's like, maybe they have no idea what the tempo is. Yeah.
So you have to understand their lingo or their language.
Yeah, the director's lingo as well, because they're visual people. They're talking about, here it's like, it's blue. Okay, blue. Okay. Play blue for me. Yeah, that kind of thing. So we kind of but the best thing is just communicate. If you can communicate with someone, then you kind of like know what they want, what they're talking about. So communication is key, I guess, in any industry.
Oh, that's a good tagline as well. I like that. In any industry, I believe communication is very important. Right. Okay, Joanna. So, sharing your experience with the audience, like, so in the band that you were playing with, Subsequence, is it? Zero. Zero.
Zero sequence.
Zero Sequence, sorry. And a few other bands. And do you write songs for them or
co-write?
Yeah. So how do you write with them? Since they are different musicians.
Okay, back then because I'm the newest member, so most of their stuff are written. But I think what I can share is because I'm actually currently writing my own stuff, and what I would like to always dabble with is I'll just give a plug out because my favorite keyboard to write on is actually the M3.
Wow, that's one of my favorite too.
Yeah, so the M3 and I like to write on the Logic itself and on Guitar Pro. So I think that's where when music education, where you know a little bit of theory is good, because when you read all those musical notes, when you put them together, you can hear and play back whether it makes sense or not. Yeah, I honestly haven't written in a band per se for a very long time already. Yeah, I think it's actually quite fun and much easier to work on my own also, because that's where you can really push your musical boundaries. But then again, playing with a band and writing with a band, unless you guys have the same vision and all, and I think that's where you can really rub each other off, and they can inspire you, they can influence you in many ways. But come to original composition, I think for me is I probably can't do what Christine do because I procrastinate so much. And I'm that kind, I need to go mountain and think very long, then come back and then write.
Let's go being an artist.
Yeah, I suck at meeting deadlines. So I think to each his own. Yeah.
You can see a lot of different colors as I say, in music. So, you know, like Christine is like, she requires to have that kind of like, you know, fast moving and make sure you satisfy the clients in a certain way.
You need a lot of discipline.
Yeah,
Music,
discipline is
what people
another
always
thing.
mistaken is, as a musician, as an artist, I can do whatever I want. No, but I think every art form also, you need to know the rules to break the rules. So there's always there's always a guideline, and yes, you can push the boundaries also. But if you get lost and then you push a boundary too much, sometimes you just end up drifting and then procrastinating.
That's nice. That's a good
Yeah.
sharing, actually. Yeah. So it's in this how you want to go beyond what you know and be more creative.
Yeah, so it's
and
the whole creativity of like
Yeah.
artists, and then you dabble in pop music, cover music, original music, and everything also.
nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
But at the end of the day, we are all playing music.
Yeah. And that's why later on we're gonna share your also what's coming up, and also all of you what's coming up. What you're gonna do in the future and what's next. But before that, just a little bit of like since we touched on like how you got to know city music. So that's nice to know that way back then you started to shop for a keyboard, and that's how you got to know us and MS 2000. It was an amazing keyboard. Like I like the sounds and all that. Till today I miss them. It's like you can't get the sounds anymore. It has a sound on its own. How about Christine? What was the experience with us? Like,
Actually, my experience with city music is quite new. Because how do I say? Okay, because when I came here, I brought a keyboard with me, and I work in a studio, and they have keyboards in the studio. So
what was the keyboard? Sorry, what was the keyboard that brought you
My
together? Yeah.
Korg. It was Korg. My first keyboard was Korg. It was my dad got it for me when I was a teenager, and I brought it here. It's like my weapon, or my baby. So I brought it here. It's still with me. And then, because I used to work in the studios, there's tons of keyboards there. And then when I went on tour, there's tons of keyboard there as well. So I didn't really have to buy a lot of keyboard. That's why I'm hardly here. But I do come by to check out new stuff, and then Ying Long, the boss, actually loaned me a Prologue 16 for my stream last month, which was very fun. I was really thankful. It was really fun to play. I had a DJ set kind of thing, the dancer. So I was using that. So that is a very new kind of like collaboration with city music, but a good
I
one.
saw that. Yeah,
It was a
that's
great
very
one.
interesting.
Yeah. So and now this is the second collaboration. So we're gonna have more collaborations.
Definitely, of course. It's just not the end. Yeah.
Never too late.
Never too late. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So back to that, the first keyboard that you had
Yeah.
was, I mean, you still have.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was
You
the-
want me to
what's
tell you?
the
the
model?
model is Korg 01W.
Oh my god! Yeah, I
You
wasn't
say-
born. I wasn't born.
Oh man, yeah. When you say vintage, I was like, well, wait till you hear mine. Mine's a dinosaur.
But that was a very a takeoff for Korg, because that was the first keyboard that has a 16-track sequencer.
I used it to the max,
Boom.
man.
Wow.
Yeah, because when I got that keyboard, I mean, in those days, I was still a kid then, so I was like, wow, what is this thing? So I will press all the sounds, I will try all of them. If I had some sound that sounded like some forest fairies, then I'll play like forest. I'm like just in my own world, like in my own soundtrack world, like every night exploring the keyboard. And then I used the 16 track to create MMOs for my school song competition. So I will program tracks like Whitney Houston song, I'll use until maximum. That's how I started, doing arranging lah.
Nice. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
wow, very interesting. You see, so as the sequencer helps you to actually, in those days there was no computer
Yeah,
for us
not
to
yet, no computer
generate
yet.
all the software and stuff like that. So the 01W is an amazing keyboard. What we have here right now is the Korg Kronos, which does the same thing right now, but of course with the new amazing sounds. That's like the Kronos way back then, which is the 01W. It was like, wow. And it's not cheap either. It's the $4,000 saying that those were the days. But it has amazing sounds. Yeah. So wow, that's nice. Thank you for sharing. Oh my goodness. So do you have any other Korg keyboard right now?
Yes, I have the Korg Cross, which is a lower version of this. I have the Micro Korg XL, which is my favorite of all.
Wow.
It's so small but so powerful. The sounds are really great. So I used that for my that DJ set that I did too. Yeah. So it was very playable sounds. I use it for my pub gigs as well. Small and portable. Yeah.
Wow. Any more in the list? Like coming
No,
up?
I've started to use software synth a bit more now. So so those were I have most Korgs in my house. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
Roland and other stuff as well, but mostly Korgs.
Yes, I like that. Okay, Joanna. So I mean, we know Joanna for a very long time also. Like, but I understand that you also she actually used a lot of the Korg keyboards from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Maybe you can share with the audience. Yeah.
My first keyboard I bought from here is a Triton LE.
Triton.
Yeah,
That's
Triton.
another amazing keyboard.
Triton
yeah.
LE. I think for me it's because I think as I progress in my musical career, I would like my keyboard to be as portable as possible. Because I'm carrying like saxophone and a lot of things also. And my favorite is this one. I have two of this.
Wow, she has two of the cross too.
I love this so much. I have two of this in a white color and another in red. The marble. So both limited
The
edition.
red one is nice. I love
Yeah,
the
the
red
red
one.
one is really good. So I leave it usually at the place that I play in because it's really very easy to use, and usually I only use one keyboard throughout the night. Even though I'm playing covers, I only use one keyboard. And because of this whole favorite function thing, it's very easy to switch about. And most importantly, it's light. Yeah, to me, priority is light and powerful and gets the job done.
I totally agree
amazingly.
with what she said,
Yeah.
because you need keyboard nowadays. It's not like before. 1W is like so heavy.
I carried
Right.
to my gig, in my hard case. It was like 30 pounds, man.
Oh my god,
Yeah, it's
30
in those
pounds.
days,
Yeah,
yeah,
those
but
days, and we still can carry. Like,
dedication.
yeah.
Yeah, after that cannot play like that.
Oh yeah, but now
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
this is
so
like
light,
literally
yeah.
5
Yeah.
kilograms,
I know,
and
right?
then like wow, so
It's-
amazing
it's
keyboard
really
actually,
good,
and its
yeah.
functions. I believe it's amazing keyboard.
I have
right.
the X50. I think the X50 is the first portable one that they came out
that's
with,
very
right?
light,
The
that's
X50.
very light.
That one last. I still have the X50, and I have the M50. I have the M3.
Wow.
I have the Kita.
Wow.
Awesome.
Are they still around? They're still,
I don't know why I
still
have
good
so many
condition.
keyboards. So yeah, they're still they're still around.
Wow, amazing.
And they're still working. Yeah.
Still working.
Yeah, still working,
that's
yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think like I'm talking about like decades also. That kind of those keyboards like X50 and everything. It's been around. I think I bought it the moment it came out.
Wow, you
Yeah.
Power.
Christine, sorry, quick one. So is the 1W still working?
It's still working. Okay, when I brought it to the States and because it traveled with me, so some of the keys broke, but I fixed it. So it's still working. I remember I opened it up a couple years ago, just to test. It's still working right now. Yeah.
I can imagine. Can you believe it? It's more than 20 over years, and it's still working.
Must you say out? Okay, never
I
mind.
mean,
We
as in
all
that
know-
keyboard.
we
I mean,
all
as
know
in,
that.
that's not
teenager.
you, but that keyboard. I mean, that keyboard has lived with that generation, and it's
Yeah,
like 20
it's still
over
working.
years. Yeah, before I was born. Yeah, well, yeah. So can you imagine 20 over years and still working?
Right,
Wow,
right.
amazing, right? I mean,
Amazing.
It's very hardy. It's
Very
very
hardy.
hardy.
and believe me, we have customers that come to our shop
Looking for
today,
it.
looking for it today, as well as they're trying to send their keyboard to us and say, "Hey, Mike, do you repair this keyboard?" or not?"
So cannot repair, is it? if it's-
Unfortunately, we can't
Oh.
repair. But can you believe it? Like 20 over years and still it's working. Probably that's the shelf life, and probably till today, and then that's it. But 20 over years for a keyboard, that's very long, very
Yeah.
lasting.
It is.
Amazing,
it is.
right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that's good to share. No, I like that. Okay, so what else can we talk about? Okay, back to Amanda. So let's talk about. Let's see what I have. I forgot. See what we have.
I actually did play with lot with the smaller like fun gadgets of the Korg. I had the Chaos Pad.
Chaos
The
Pad?
Chaos
Chaos
Pad
Pad,
time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just added on to my piano. I mean the keys, and
Right.
then
And what
the
do you do with it?
the Chaos oscillator. I guess it's just like I layer drums.
Right.
So there are, because back in with electrical days, there are a couple of songs that we have like electronic drum layering on top of the drum. So sometimes I would just have some kind of like electronic beat or some effects. You filter, and then you just kind of layer it, or like it forms as a second like rhythmic textures, and then you add it on. Yeah, and then I have all the other like is it a monotron?
Monotron?
Yeah, but I just got that they have fun at home, you know, like
Yeah,
just
it's a
put it
nice
on
instrument,
and like
but it's
production.
unique, right? And
It's very
so-
unique and it's very small, yeah, and the key oscillator also.
Wow, you have that as well.
Yeah, yeah. So
Wow,
I have all the
amazing.
mini like Korg gadgets over there.
Wow, and it's still working today to today.
It's still working, yes.
Nice. I like
Yeah,
that.
I just have
Still
to change battery lah sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah.
move to another question. Since do you use okay, just like Christine, she uses like soft synth and hardware. Do you use like any software?
Yeah, I do soft synths as well, but I'm a little bit old school in a way. Like I am very tactile. I really need knobs. You know, it takes me a long while to get used to or like to fully kind of move over. I don't think I can fully move over to soft synths, but like I do use like a mini other like keyboard controller with experimenting with soft synths because I think it's very different performing the soft synths versus using them to produce. I'm not sure whether is it the same
yeah.
for you guys. Like it's also taking me a little bit of time to kind of like navigate around the whole new school way of using soft synths, you know, and stuff like that. But for me, I'm always more of a hardware person for sure. Yeah.
Right. Okay, how about Joanna? Do you use soft synths when you work at home and creating your own music?
Home, yes. Live, no.
So
Yeah.
live, not
Live, I'm
recommending
very
them
practical.
to.
I'm a very practical musician. I'll do
Right.
whatever is more efficient. Yeah. But
Right.
home, yes, I'll use soft synth.
Is there a specific reason why you don't use soft synth for live?
Because I have computer crashing on me, all these things.
Right.
I'm very scared of those.
Yeah, so
those
that's the reason why
incidents.
the hardware still exists today because
Yes,
that is a different, right? Christine, what do you think?
I'm a combination of both. Yeah, because I've switched to soft synth basically now for production, like 100%. But when it comes to performing, and I'm talking about playing concerts, like Chinese pop concerts and stadiums and all that, I used to use, like hardware, but now it's a combination. So depending on what I play, whether it's the keyboard 1 or keyboard 2, for keyboard 1, I will use like keyscapes, spectrasonic stuff, and then I'll have like a hardware that is additional where I know that it's gonna be there for pads or something like that. But when I was playing keyboard 2, then I used to have 4 different keyboards, right? Yeah. But I think it's a combination of both for me. Mainly because for the soft synth, I can tweak the sound very easily. Yeah, I can really, really customize it to the way I want it. Yeah, for example, if I want the piano to have like a cathedral kind of reverb, I can maximize the reverb here, but it may not be cathedral size.
Right.
Yeah, but if it's soft synth, I can do anything I want. Yeah, basically, and very quick at the tip of my hands.
Right, so that's
Yeah.
the differences between like hardware versus
Yeah,
the soft
I need
synth.
both. I need both.
Yeah, so which is nice actually to have both. And it's good to have best of both worlds. You
Yes.
know, sometimes you realize that what I like about hardware is because sometimes when you get creative ideas, it
Very
just
quickly.
boom and it's very, very instant. While the soft sense, like you need to just meddle with it and take a little bit of time. But once you get a good sound, it's really like, wow, that's it,
Right.
that's the good sound, right? So
Right.
that's the difference. Okay, so so I think that's about almost time. So let's look at questions. We do have questions, right? Let me see. A lot. Oh, okay. Should we answer the
Hi,
questions?
hi, hi.
Let me
Wow.
just.
Hi everyone.
Okay. Let me just. Whoa. Okay. What we have here. Okay,
Ling,
Jeff
Joanna.
Long is in the house. Sorry, I forgot about mentioning the people that is in the house right now. We have Jarvis in the house.
Hello.
We have Kenji. We have also. It's another friend of mine. That's this from KL. Yeah. His name is Leong, actually from KL. Yeah, it's Leong from KL. Brian is in the house. One of our dealer, Brian. Who else in the house? Loki.
Fendi, hello.
Yeah, the Black
Nogami.
East. Okay, Daras. Is it Daras? Danas. Okay. No Gani is in the house. Yeah, No Gani is also another
Composer.
if you know him,
Yeah,
right?
he's
Yes,
my
yes, also
sort of
another
colleague
great
in the
composer. Yeah, always work behind the curtain one. Yeah, and Pearson Wong. Okay, Choi Wei, Gao Yang, another
Yang,
person
hi.
that I know, very old friend of mine. Gao Yang and Ben. Ben is in the house as well. Fendi, and many more. Let's go scroll. And Agnes is also another old friend.
Agnes, hi.
Yeah. She's here with us, and thank you so much for joining us and sharing. And I mean, not sharing, but being with us here. I'm a bit lost right now. Like, okay, but anyway, I'm just hungry already. Okay, but anyway, we have also Dinto, Kamal is our colleague there. Yes, wow. Ireng is in the house, and that's it. Okay. Right?
Nothing.
Okay.
So the names are very funny. That's all.
I got it.
I saw.
Oh, which one? Kamal.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, Kamal. Hello.
He always
Advise you not to go any further. Anyway.
No, that's his nickname. Yeah, it's our colleague here anyway.
Oh, is
Oh,
it?
Yeah, Junie Pang. Okay, Junie Pang is from Korg.
So cute. Wow.
Yeah, she actually
Honor.
lives in Malaysia.
Oh,
Yeah, but
wow.
she's
Hi.
representing Korg here, and she's always watching us. She likes to stalk me, and the rest. No, just kidding. She's a very good supporter, and always tell us, "Hey, Mike, keep it going." And I say, very good as a representation of our principal, which is Korg.
Yeah.
Very nice. And let's see who else. Yeah, we have Harif in the house as well.
Got some questions for
Oh, okay, yes.
Christine and Amanda.
Question for Christine
I
and
think
Amanda.
It's for.
Let's see what we have.
How do you divide roles between you and
Okay, I'm just gonna do a really
Okay.
quick one. Yeah, keyboard 1 is basically playing piano and EP. Keyboard 2 is the auxiliary stuff. So you're playing pads, organ, maybe some additional strings, lead sound, So basically that's 2 roles. Of course, if you only have the budget for one, then there's just keyboard 1. Yeah, so mainly, yeah.
That answered.
Question for Amanda. Tell us more about how is the kiosk pad like.
Oh, Chaos Pad. I think at that time when I was using it, I think we were just. Honestly, I don't think I have used it to the max at that point of time, but it's more like I was needing to create some textures underneath the keys, and I wanted delay, but then I didn't have the delay pedal at that time. And I had that Chaos Pad, so I thought like, hey, why not I use this and just layer? And there are many ways to even have a delay and just like warp it live. And I think that is why Chaos Pad Live was was so popular then. Yeah, so that was how I did it.
Some quite a few people asking when Joanna releasing material.
Okay, back to that. So let's hear from Joanna. We've been hearing that she just completed an album. Yeah, maybe Joanna, you can share with the audience.
I'm releasing my single soon on 2nd October, and the full album in a few weeks' time is a progressive rock instrumental. Yeah.
Progressive rock instrumental. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So and a bit of fusion.
Okay, so where can they get the single? Is it a single?
Single will be on 2nd October,
2nd of October.
and the album will be a couple of weeks after that. Yeah.
Okay, so where can they get the song on the 2nd October?
You'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, or major streaming platform.
Right,
Yeah.
so it will be under Joanna.
Joanna Lim. Yes.
Okay. So don't forget, everyone, just in case you need to check out Joanna, she will be on the available on the Spotify,
Apple,
iTunes,
Yeah.
any other
the-
platform.
I think
Lazada, Qoo10.
Shopee.
Shopee.
I give you a quote later on. No lah. I think so far mainly these two.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of time spent on the chord keyboards
Nice.
for that album.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. And wishing you all the best in the album.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so this will be my last question before jamming. So we're going to be jamming 2 songs, right? Okay, but for that, just last, anything that you can advise the audience out there that probably can inspire them, if they want to be a keyboard player like you guys, what would you advise?
I think for me, number one is to diversify. I think that becomes a superpower, I feel, because it really, in a way, diversify, meaning even within the keyboards, but there's so many other aspects that you can, dabble with, whether is it from performing to producing to writing, or like teaching for that matter. And I think it's kind of like a well-rounded kind of thing. It's just a matter of different people might gravitate towards a certain doing more of certain things at some point. And I feel like it's also a seasonal thing, meaning sometimes we think we are going to do it and fixate on like, okay, I'm going to do this for a long while, but then suddenly new opportunities come, new ways of doing things may happen along the way. And I think it's being open-minded to explore what your boundary is, what boundaries you can break even, and then you make it your own, you know. Yeah, so I think that itself, and of course listening to all sorts of music really will help. Yeah, so even though we all have a favorite style or a genre, but I feel like it really just to kind of like, you know, tap into the richness of what music can do for you, and how you can contribute towards their own, whether it's performing, teaching, recording, playing, you know, everything. Yeah.
That's a very fruitful advice. You know. How about
Totally
Christine?
second that. Exactly what I want to say. Really.
Yes, I agree as well.
Yeah, diversify
it's true.
and listen to all sorts of music. Because usually when I ask my students, what do you listen to? Then they're like, yeah, all sorts. Then when I name a few, they're like, I don't know. Yeah, like, yeah. So we're talking about world music, maybe African music, Caribbean, like anything. Death metal, whatnot, you know, like all sorts. And the diversifying is really helpful, especially in these times where a lot of us just think about playing, because playing is very glamorous in a sense, because you're appearing in front of, whether it's 100 audience or 10,000, you're appearing in front of them. Yeah, so a lot of people want to play, but besides playing, you know, really diversify with composing, arranging, score writing, you know, and that kind of thing.
How about Joanna?
I agree with them. Yeah, but it's true. So don't close your mind to a specific genre that you like. So be very open-minded. I think listening is very important, because a lot of people when they play music, they think, oh, I read score, you know, I just do this. But we always forget that your most important senses is actually your hearing. Yeah, and not just listening to music, but listening to the people around you, listening to your mentors, listening to what other people have to say. Even watching your daily news also, you can get inspiration from there. Yeah, the things are happening around the world.
Okay, that's nice. Well, I just want to add to that. I believe now it's different from many years ago, and how basically music is all about just passion and what drives you. But looking at the current scenario, right, I believe now it's not only just you can play, you know, well and stuff like that. It's how you it's your presence in a lot of these social media platforms actually plays a part. Yeah, just like when I was talking to Christine, or just go inside and say, oh, so this is what you do. So the presence of being inside Instagram, Facebook, and you know, being active in that platform, I think plays a part as well. So that's where you get to know what your activities are, what you've been doing, and etc. So that plays a very important role, right? You think so?
These days, yes.
Yeah, these days, yeah. So
It's
we have to keep
true,
it going,
yeah.
and that's what we are doing as well. That's what City Music is doing. It's also
Awesome.
what we
Right.
keep ourselves up to that live stream and keep it, you know,
Awesome job.
to what
Yeah.
the
Keep
people
everyone
wants right
sane.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's very
updated.
important as well. Okay, right, so should we jam? Anything else you want to talk about and you share with the
Can I
audience?
plug two things?
Sure.
Plug, yeah. So tomorrow I have this jam with Christine, with Shilin and the Unexpected. It's my jam with Christine live stream thing. So it's happening tomorrow. And next week I have this masterclass going on. It's basically with Soma. Basically I'm teaching about keyboard 1 and keyboard 2. Yeah, but it's entitled Worship Music, but it was targeting at church musicians, but not really, because it's still the basics. It's keyboard 1 and keyboard 2. Yeah.
Right, and
so-
Soma is
it's a school. I think SOMA. If you can go find their IG or Facebook, you can maybe find information about this masterclass.
yeah. So they're located at Marina Square.
But it's a Zoom class.
Oh, the Zoom class, so it's even easier. So everybody can
you
stay
don't
at
have to
home.
go
and-
down. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, Soma is also one of our dealer. We also support each other for a lot. Hopefully for more collaboration in future as well. So
Yes.
that's one of our dealer. Keith is we know him for very long
Cool.
years. And, so yeah. Okay. One last question. Sorry, got so many questions before we jam. Right. So one last question. So
Might just delaying.
sorry,
You're just delaying.
delaying.
You can't play it.
Yeah. Okay. No, actually, the last question is, we want to know like how do you cope with the CB?
Oh.
You know, like we didn't touch on that. So
Oh.
we were supposed to touch on it, but okay, Amanda, how do you cope as soon as we got to know that we are locked down somehow? What were the first thing that you had in mind, like music and
Well, actually, at that point, when it was during the first month of circuit breaker, I was still in school. As in, like, we had lessons, and in fact, I had a lot of assignments due. So I think, in a way, having a little bit of a lockdown was a bit helpful for me to actually get focused with things. And then when May came, and because I've been conducting like online, sorry, not online, but real time, like, facilitation of sessions. Like, I do soundscape meditation under an Airbnb. So I used to host people in my space. And then later on, it took online. And online, so for the whole of May, it was like 30 days of 2 sessions each day, hosting, mostly US timings. So I was kind of dropped into that whole busyness of it. And I think that I was just, I think to be truth to be told, I was reacting to the situation. Like, whatever comes, I take, right? And I think it was only until July, I was just telling a few friends, I think it's a very delayed reaction of my response emotionally, mentally, with what is going on and the CB whole thing. And the downer period came to me like only like the next couple of months. So it's just then how I pick it up along the way and, get a bit of a groove, because I felt like my normal routine was so much better pre-COVID, because with COVID, everybody work from home, everything is there. Your lines get blurred about where your work and rest and everything is supposed to be. So yeah, and I think as with everyone else, we're still navigating around things, and things are always evolving and changing, and it's just about at least now we have some form of basic understanding what's going on, and for me, it's just to adapt. Just constantly adapt and, just go on with it.
Nice. How about you, Christine?
2 things. Like her, I think faith is very important, because it gives us. For me, it's where my strength and my calm and my hope comes from. So faith is important. It keeps me grounded, especially in the later part. Because in the first part of COVID, it was like, oh, just taking a break, and after a while, it's like, when is it going back to normal? It can start to wear down. Like, I kind of miss home. I really miss home. I want to go back, but I can't. So it kind of wears down on you a little bit. So faith is important for me. Work-wise, I'm very fortunate that because of this diversity that we're talking about, I couldn't play all my gigs because they're all cancelled. They're overseas gigs. All the concert gigs are cancelled. Even right now, all the pubs are still closed. No one can play any gigs right now, right? So I'm really thankful that I could go online to do some of my gigs, and they are sponsored, so meaning being paid to do it. And I shifted my teaching online as well. So I'm able to teach online, doing masterclass online, and able to do my production work. So I am still going. I'm really thankful for that because of this diversity that I had all along. So really it came to use. Yeah.
How about Joanna? How do you cope?
The first month of May, when it's a total shutdown and all, I use that time a lot to practice actually. So I think me and my husband, both of us are musicians, so we just keep jamming at home for like hours and everything, and finish up my album. And I think one lesson that I really learned is to not take things for granted, because I think previously when we just get by with life, and you realize that things actually, it seems like things get to you very easily. We can have things very easily. Then now when everything is shut down, I realized that we really do miss performing live so much, that looking forward to go back on stage. And even things like coming here and looking at this keyboard, I get a little bit sentimental also, because I miss playing this keyboard and gigging and all. Yeah, so just hopefully that we can all ride through this tough time together. And I think the light in this long tunnel is that instead of thinking, I wish to do this, I wish to do that, I think really sit down and do it. And one thing that I really enjoy this period of time is spending a lot of time with family. Because you really no choice, right? You have to really be at home and spend time with family. I think that is one thing as a full-time musician I kind of left out because of our odd hours, and I don't spend time with my mom, my in-laws and everything. Yeah. So I think instead of looking it very negatively, so try to think how we can innovate during this dark time and make the best out of it. Yeah, pick up a new skill, learn something, write something. Yeah.
This is very nice advice, and thank you for sharing the positive, spread the positive to all of us, and that's very amazing. Then keep us alive and keep us going to where we are right now in future, and we just pray to, hopefully this COVID is just going to end, and we're going to make more alive much better than before, right?
Yeah.
So that's why positively we have to take that.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's about most of what we're going to cover today. And before that, as I mentioned, finally the songs come. Actually, we're just going to do 2 songs. We're going to jam, everybody. So, are we ready? Are we ready to do that? Yeah, we're doing first. That's see the blues. The blues.
Let's
So you're
jam
gonna
on the
jam the blues. Ooh, like
Wow.
that.
What'd you say?
Right?
What'd you say?
Woo!
Thank you, the 3 audience here. Thank you so much.
You got no more, or like 3 more.
Oh, wow. We have some spectators outside.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do one more, right?
Yeah.
We'll do Cantalopue
Cantaloupe.
Island.
Cantaloupe is the fruit.
Yeah, cool.
Just kidding.
Sure, go ahead.
Like it's like a
watermelon?
Melon.
Haven't eaten it before.
Are we all ready?
Okay.
Later I buy for you. Come.
Very hot day today. It's actually very good, very cooling.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I've not been playing this song for many, more than 10 years.
You know, for fun.
That's why it's called a gem.
Jam. Anyhow, work.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sorry, a lot of them was my mistake because long time never play. So I got to play, then somehow I get very excited and nervous. So forgive us and forgive me for my wrongdoings. Yeah. But anyway, it was nice. It was nice. I would like to take the opportunity to thank every one of you here, Amanda, Christine, and Joanna for being here with us. I know they are busy, but they take this 1 hour, beautiful 1 hour, to just share with us. I thank you for sharing with the audience and us, and I felt so much the positiveness in you guys, and keep it going and keep producing good music, and yeah. And that's about it. And thank you so much. I will take the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you so much. I would thank for being here with us. So taking a little bit of this opportunity to thank also once again the supported by Sony Singapore, Aputure Asia, Korg Singapore, Zoom Singapore, Mackie Singapore, and Deity Microphones Asia. And also not forgetting, please like and subscribe to our channel, Facebook, as well as Instagram, and of course our YouTube channel, please. And of course, maybe if you have like Instagram and Facebook that you want to share with the audience, maybe they can also look at, so there. You got it? Huh?
Because I shared one.
Okay, so you can,
I don't know.
okay, maybe Amanda can share
Well,
them.
my Facebook is at Amanda Ling Music.
Amanda Ling Music, okay.
And for my Instagram, it's at doopsling.wave.
At
Doops, DOOPZLING dot wave.
Dot wave.
You know, wave file? Yeah.
Awesome. Christine, how about you?
Mine is just Facebook is just Christine Sham. Then my IG is Aqua Citrus.
Wow.
Citrus.
Aqua Citrus.
Like orange juice.
Orange juice, yeah. Okay. Joanna, how about you?
Joanna Lim .music for both. Yeah.
Joanna Lim
Lim.music.
.music. Okay, so not forgetting everyone, please like them, just watch them, and it's just to get if you feel like getting inspired by their music.
How to get your t-shirt?
This t-shirt. If I have one, I'll pass it to you. But yeah, actually, to be honest, I'm a big fan of Korg, but I bought this in Shopee. Can you believe it? Because I bought it in Shopee because that's the only place I can find my size.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Okay, but if I do have one, I will keep.
Right. I'll try to
Yeah.
squeeze into it, whatever size it is.
Sure. Okay, we try to find. If I do have, I will keep one for every one of you.
All right.
That'd be
All right.
lovely.
Thank
Okay, but
you.
anyway, once again, thank you very much, everyone, for taking this time, and that's it. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, audience, for sharing. I mean, not sharing, but joining us for this awesome Facebook Live. And we'll try to have more Facebook Lives soon. So catch up soon again, and we have more amazing people in the house. Take care and stay safe, everyone.